Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Slumber Party Podcast.
With the effervescent Mikhail.
And the wondrous cat. And our intern. Just kidding.
I'm the intern.
This is Danica.
This is Danica.
Hello.
You saw her previously in the last episode briefly as she was playing the part of our intern. We don't have interns. We can't afford them.
Well, I mean, they don't.
They're free.
Yeah. I know they're free, but like, why? Yeah. What would we need an intern for?
Can you give me some college
Being
credit?
a show host.
Show host.
Yeah.
Some college credit for the college you're not in.
Yeah, for the college I graduated from.
I can sign you off on give support, something like that. There's a website for it.
Supportive AF.
I'll take it.
But no, Danica, she works with us at our yet still unnamed company. And
it exists.
She does same job?
Yeah.
They have the same job. She's a very lovely lady. We love her very much. Okay. But we're gonna talk about self-care because self-care is important. Mm-hmm. And as people who work in a social work / mental health field, we need a lot.
24/7 self-care. Literally.
But I feel like in today's day and age, it's like, buys 4 pairs of new shoes, self-care, and I'm like,
yeah, it's a Band-Aid.
You can't that's not, I mean, if you want to, like, splurge on yourself a little bit, I get that.
Yeah.
You do it.
But
like,
you can't just label everything self-care
every
because
Thursday,
it makes you feel nice.
Maybe not.
So.
Yeah.
Because, like, sometimes self-care is like, I don't want to get out of bed today. Forcing yourself to get out of bed today.
Yeah, or like taking a shower, or making sure that you eat enough times throughout the day. And
paying your medical bills.
Make yourself food for lunch tomorrow. It can literally be like a task you should complete. You have no motivation and don't want to, but you do it anyway because you need it to live.
Or like to... I mean, for me, one of the biggest self-care things for me is making sure I deal with my mail. Yeah. Because I get a lot of mail that I'm like, is it bills? Is it not? Is it a credit card offer? Like, okay, cool, I could throw that in the fire.
Are they the annoying, like, same grocery store news thing that you get every single week? And you have 20 of them?
The coupons.
The coupons?
The coupons where you get $1 off the thing you never buy.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy dog treats. I'm going to have a dog.
Yeah.
What if you just want to buy dog treats, though?
You know,
maybe they taste good.
That's my self-care from now on. I'm just going to buy dog treats.
Just buy dog treats.
But I also wanted to, or at least, not just me, I wanted to give you guys some good, like, because, like, it's hard to be in your 20s and your teens and your 30s and your 40s and any age. It's hard to be alive.
Life is hard.
And I know, like, a lot of people, when they think of self-care, they think of, like, spa days or, like, a bunch of things that, like, cost a lot of money. And it doesn't have to be like that. You can, like, sometimes even just going outside is self-care. Just being outside. Not doing anything. You can go on a walk. Yeah.
Just absorb
or just, like,
some natural air.
Just, like, going outside and, like, taking in some fresh air. I'm not saying, like, you don't need pills. Go outside. Take your meds your doctor prescribes you. Like, I'm a fully advocate. I'm not saying, like, everybody needs med, but for some people it works. It helps. It makes them handle the process better. Do what your doctor says, basically. Because that's how you're healthy. But, like, getting the fresh air, changing your environment, even just a little bit, even if you can't make it outside, but just, like, go to the living room.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily go spend time with people, but, like, go change your view. Look at something different.
Other than the 4 walls you see.
Yes. Because sometimes perspective enough is just to get your brain thinking about something else or doing something different, so you don't constantly need to be, like, in your headspace doing this. Because if you look at the same thing every day, just laying in your bed looking at the same wall...
Or even a temperature change.
Yes.
Can be huge. So I know that a while ago, we had a snow-in. Actually, it was last year.
February.
And, yeah, a lot of people were stuck in their houses, which caused a lot of people to just kind of go stir crazy. Because it's the same. The whole time. So even just, like, sticking your face outside in the cold can kind of help. It is a Band-Aid, like, I would actually classify that as more of, like, a coping skill.
But if that's all you got at the moment,
like, it helps you get through just for a bit until you are in a place where you can, like, focus on the root of the issue and, like, work through that instead.
We were lucky enough to live close to each other, so we could actually like tromp through the snow with each other. Yeah. Which was helpful. Yeah. That's the other thing is like don't try and isolate yourself. I know there's times when you need the isolation to be like, I need to be alone. I peopled a lot. But don't...
I peopled a lot.
I mean, it's a lot.
I want a sweatshirt that says that.
I am so much an introvert. Like, I can hang out with... Well, there's few people that I can hang out for like 2 weeks straight, you being one of the few, but it's also because I've just known you for so long at this point in time. But Danica is also somebody's personality where I can mesh because we can have like, yay, have a fun time, and like, let's look at our phones for 30 minutes and not talk.
And like not be upset about it. We understand that like, cool, this is like normal, talk to you in 20 minutes.
It's that moment of like, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is like, like a lot of older generation people make fun of us for that, but it's like truly like we get so much stimulation from everything, our phones, the internet, whatever, that like having that moment to like go scroll through Instagram where it's just this mindless like flipping through thing is in a way of being like, I'm just relaxing and this is what I'm doing. Like I remember Kat, after when we were in high school, she would just come over and we would just lay in my room for 3 hours watching Vines. We wouldn't even talk.
Oh, I love Vines.
It would just be like, we would just laugh. Yeah. And then be like, oh, you should probably go home. And I'd take her home. Like, that's what we would do.
Like, we not even an exaggeration. Like, that exact thing.
Oh, I love it.
Like, oh, we should probably take you home.
Like, probably the time we were together, the most, like, exchange of words we had was, here. Like, because we were either looking at separate phones or just watching one phone. And all we did was just laugh and not talk, but, like, we did it in a company of another person. Yeah. And I don't feel like enough people are like, can I just come over to your house and do nothing? Yeah. Like, I don't even really necessarily want to talk to you. Can I just be around?
We've instigated hanging out to take a nap.
Yeah. Like, I came over one time.
That's a beautiful thing.
I think I was, like, in the neighborhood, and I was like, can I come over and take a nap? And she was like, yep. And so we came over, put some YouTube video on, and watched it and laughed for a little bit, but then we ended up both falling asleep on the couch. Yep. Same couch. Yeah. Like, our legs were tangled together, and Dan just came home, and I remember, like, kind of waking up to him coming home, and just being like, what? And then just being like, and, like, going about his day, which I also really appreciated because he wasn't, A, weirded out that his girlfriend was laying with somebody else on the couch.
And his B, pansexual girlfriend.
Yeah. And B, like... he just let us be.
Sorry about that.
Bronchitis.
Okay. Kat had bronchitis. So, and like he just let us sleep. Like he didn't care. He actually like went and played his games quietly, which was like, really hard for him.
So we've touched on it briefly. Dan does not play games quietly. Yeah, it's not very hard for him.
He has a volume knob, but the lowest it goes is 10.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful, wonderful, happy thing, and I like it. I thoroughly enjoy it.
He's one of the few people I know that are loud, but it doesn't bother me.
Same.
Like, it's just what it is. And he and I escalate each other in loudness as well.
I like it.
You're not the only one.
No, I know.
Yeah.
He's good at that.
so much fun, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's also, just because you mentioned it, right? Like, Dan didn't care that you guys were chilling, relaxing, and that is your form of, like, self-care. It's just relaxing, even if it's with each other. I think that's also, like, a huge aspect of it is having a safe and understanding partner. There's somebody who's not going to be like, oh my god, what are you doing, what is happening, but instead it's going to be like, cool, they're doing their thing, like I can also do my thing, we don't need to like be intertwined 24/7. Somebody who like respects you.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, that's really nice.
And actually in our couple podcasts ago now we talked about relationships, and I was saying that, like, Kat and Dan specifically, because I know them, have grown a lot together from when they first started dating to now being engaged and getting ready to get married and all that kind of stuff. Literally this year. So, it's been interesting to see that. It's been interesting to see that transformation from, like, an outside perspective. Like, they've always been good at communicating, but they've gotten so much better, especially because you've been entering into, like, the social aspect work, and you've learned other skills from that. Also, therapy is great. So
it's really great.
You learn things through that as well.
Shout out to therapy.
So,
ooh, yeah, thank you, therapist.
So, like, I feel like, especially just, getting older, you learn more things, and self-care in a way I feel like becomes easier as you get older, because you get to the point where you're like, I know what I like, I know what will calm me down. Like, I know for Christmas this last year, I asked for a lot of art supplies, because I cannot draw. I'm not good at drawing.
Me neither.
Like, people are like, oh, and I'm like, no, my stick figures look bad.
I can't draw a circle.
Yeah, like, it's just not. And I was like, but I like drawing. Like, I like the aspect of it. So I was like, can I have some, like, adult coloring books and just some nice markers and nice colored pencils? Because the other thing that annoys me about drawing is I hate when there's, like, those, like, missing parts. Like, I want everything to be smooth, like it's printed, basically. Yeah. And that's what relaxes me. So I got, like, my parents were very nice and got me a very nice set of Prismacolor.
Oh, yes.
So, and my dad got me, he found these, colorless pens that allows you to just blend everything together. So it will all be, like, smooth and matte together. And I was like,
God.
I love you, Father. Like, I didn't even know they existed, and he found it, and I was like, oh, this is the best gift that I've ever been given. And I was so excited. And, like, that's relaxing to me, because I can color in something, and I can make it look however I want, because I don't have to, like, go by, oh, this is going to be purple, or this is going to be red. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I still get the aspect of drawing without having to actually draw the thing out and be like, I hate it.
And then, like, feel more stressed because you're like,
I can't draw the thing I'm trying
I can't
to
do anything!
Yeah, you're, like, doubting yourself. I'm like,
yeah. But I also enjoy... I don't need a lot of human contact because I said it, like I said, I'm very introverted. I like being alone. I need that time to not be around anybody.
Same.
Like, if, like, you guys were here just, like, around, like, I wouldn't care. I'd be
Totally
like, whatever, because I don't feel the social obligation to be like, oh, I need to entertain you, or let's engage in conversation or whatever. And I can relax from that, too. But I do have, like, some friends that, like, need to be entertained. Like, they need to be doing something. But it's because they're so, like... extroverted and out there that if they don't do things, they, like, get anxious. And it's
it's like the exact opposite.
Yeah. And those friends I've just learned, like, I will make plans with you to go get drinks or, like, something like that where we can go out, and I know that I will be able to be like, this is the day I'm going to do that, so if the day before I don't see anybody, I can have the energy to meet that.
Yeah. Just introverts take a second to, like, prep.
Yeah, but that's what I need to feel okay and not be, like, completely drained. Like, the holidays is hard for me because a lot of my family is, like, super outgoing. And loud and, like, everything, and, like, I can match them, but it's a lot of output energy for me. If I don't have those days to be like, then it sucks. That's why I kind of like my job, because I'm, for the most part, left alone.
Yeah.
So I can be at work, do my thing, and nobody talks to me, and I'm like, this is great. I love work. So,
work is self-care.
In a way, yeah, but
goal.
I enjoy my job. So... for me, going to work every day is not a bad thing. Like, the day after Christmas, I was like, I don't want to go to work, but it's mostly because I was tired and lazy.
Same.
Like,
Same. Today, though, I was totally fine. I was like, sweet, I'm going to work, like, nonstop.
Yeah, especially because our executive director's been out sick for the last couple of weeks, who was my direct boss. And so I had nothing new to do. So I was like, I am bored. But today she was like, do this, and I was like, yes, let me do the things.
Here we go.
So in a way, my work is but my previous works, I can tell you, were definitely not self-care. So
that's how it is for, I think, both of us.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We also we worked at one organization together, and that's where we met. And then Danica left before I did, and left to the place that we're at now, and then I followed probably like a year afterwards. A year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
Because you started in
September of 2017.
Yeah. And I started in April of 2018, so I wasn't that far behind you.
November,
October, November, December, January, February, March, April.
Oh, you were like September, October. Yeah, like a little bit of a year after.
Yeah.
Math.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I knew of Danica because you guys had worked before, Taylor before, and like I think I had met you once before, but like it was like a very quick thing.
Yeah.
And then we were working with each other, in different departments. Like we didn't really interact much.
Different buildings.
Yeah. Different counties.
Yeah.
So like I just never thought about it until until the position Kat started to work in became open, and like me, you, another one of our coworkers, and another one of our coworkers all was like, Kat, apply for this job.
We're gonna steal her now, thank you.
Yeah. I had like four
recommendations.
Yeah, four people.
Craig got it in the end because we all came to a collective. Like he did it first. So.
Yeah, he did, unfortunately. But then you came after.
Yeah.
You're still here. We're happy.
Yeah.
Like it.
And we're all still here today, and we've all moved up from the positions that we were hired in.
Yeah.
So.
Except me, I started at the position I was hired in.
Yeah, but you like your position.
I love my position.
Yeah.
And I like the place that we were at before is like it's a good organization, but
just wasn't a good fit.
Yeah, for me they were gaining too much too fast. And they didn't have the resources to kind of keep up with it.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of spiraled.
And
the care for their employees kind of like took the hit so that they could keep growing.
And that's a self-care thing too. Quit the job you fucking hate.
Yeah, knowing when to say, no, this isn't okay. I have to take care of myself before I can help others.
I totally get it. Like, you like, I need money, I need to have a job. But the thing is you can have a job and also be looking for something different. I was like, it's not going to hurt you to just jump for a little bit, because I did that.
Yeah.
Retail to being a CNA, and I had like multiple different CNA jobs because I was like, maybe this new place will be better. Spoiler alert, it never was. My job before this wasn't bad. Like, I liked being the night shift receptionist / CNA. It was an easy job, but like it just got boring after a while because it was the same thing over and over again.
You have to have some stimulation in your job, that way you feel like you're accomplishing something, and you can go home not feeling like you've just completely wasted your day.
Well, I didn't feel like I wasted my day, I just didn't really have anything to do. So, because like all I did was I had to fill out like a couple sheets of like activities for the next day, update the activity line, maybe redo a seating arrangement, which wasn't that hard, and then patrol the building 3 times a night, and then unlock some stuff in the morning. But it was that every day. Same thing over and over again. Which, for the first year of it, I was like, this is wonderful. Because I came off a really high stress, like, everything, every minute you're just go, 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 go. That I was like, I love not having to really do anything. And I love, I get to sit down. What? Like, it just, like, blew my mind. And it was easy, and, like, I could, like, do my homework. I could watch Netflix, because I still did my job. And, like... I was in the middle of downtown Seattle, so I could, like, Uber eat stuff really late at night, like, really delicious food, and I was like, this is great. I had a good, it was a nice job, but after, like, a year and a half in, I was like, I am so bored, and I don't talk to anybody anymore, because my job started so late. It was, like, 11:30 to 8 in the morning, so by the time I got off work, she was going to work. And I had to sleep, so when she was, like, getting ready to wind down and go to bed, I was waking up.
It's harder to plan a social life when you
I didn't really see you that much that year because I was also in school as well, so I was just going crazy. So that was a hard year and a half, and then once I was done, I was like, I need to work during the day. I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore.
Good.
And then I found this job, which was 10 to 6:30, which was my original job as a receptionist. And I was like, oh, wonderful, because I was like, I don't think I can go off night shift and start at, like, 6 or, like, 7 or 8 kind of a thing. I was like, I need a later job, but I didn't want to work evening shift, because I was like, then I still won't see my friends.
True.
So that was ideal for that, and now I work 9 to 5, and that's even better, because I get off about the same time you guys do. So
for your mental health.
And I feel more present having working day shifts than I have in a very long time. Also, again, taking your meds is helpful. It's funny once you have, like, even serotonin levels in your brain.
Oh, it's the...
how your life works better that way.
Like, the most fantastic, like, self-care thing that I've ever done is just, start taking care of my mental health. Like, I had started working in the mental health field about a year or 2 prior, but I didn't, like, actually seek out my own mental health until, like, I had already been there for a while, and I was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense. Like, I can, feel good throughout the day. I don't have, like, panic attacks every 2 seconds. Like, it was mind-boggling, like, how drastic my outlook just throughout the day and through life, like, changed when I found what worked for me, and it was,
Just, like, working in mental health, too, sheds so much light on so much of your childhood.
Oh, my gosh,
like, there's nothing quite like working in mental health to kind of help you realize just how much messed up stuff happened to you, and oh, it was messed up, and oh, this is why this happened, and oh, this is why I do this thing. Oh,
it's so much harder to see it, like, when you're looking at yourself. But if you look at somebody else, it's easier to recognize, oh, they've had this happen, and this is a problem. And then you're like, oh, wait, this has also happened to me. Does that mean that this is a problem for me? It's like something you don't think about until it's, like, mirrored in front of you. You can, like, stare at it.
Oh, my God. Straight up had one of those moments when I was working with this...
Youth.
Adolescent.
My youth.
My youth. where she was doing something, and you know, my job as a youth partner is to kind of like use my personal story to help motivate the youth that I work with. And so like I was also just kind of hanging out with her before she was going to go and see her therapist, and then we go and see her therapist, and we're like, okay, yeah, she did this thing. She's like, oh yeah, that's really common for kids who experience this thing when they're younger. And then like straight up had this moment of like, oh, that's not normal. Oh,
wee woo.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, see you later.
Let me just process this trauma really quickly.
Talk to my supervisor later to be like, so this isn't normal. And she's like, oh, yeah, you might want to talk with your parents. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
freaky,
like weird stuff like that happens, like, because you're directly confronted with that in mental health all the time.
All the time.
Long story short,
you
could just go see a therapist. I know that there is a lot of stigma in the U.S.
Or even just see your regular PCP and like ask for an anxiety or depression screening. Because the thing is you may not rank high.
PCP
or
is your doctor.
Yeah.
Primary care physician.
Yes. You may not. The thing is it's not necessarily depression. It's more of like the anxiety. I feel like, or people are like, I don't think I'm anxious. Takes the test and they're like, no, you have anxiety.
You're pretty anxious.
And they're like, oh, like, because I remember like my first year of college sucked for me because like I was going through a time like my brain like just wasn't firing right, and I didn't feel like myself, but I didn't know how to explain it because I was coming out of like teenage dumb. So it's like kind of getting into that last foggy, like your frontal lobe is like, okay, I'm done now almost.
Your hormones are finally kind of starting to calm down a little bit.
Yeah. And I was in a relationship that wasn't that great for me, so that didn't help either. And I just like would go to my college campus and I would park and I would just have a panic attack in my car. Like I couldn't even get out. I couldn't go. And I was like, I can't, like, but I kept berating myself being like, God, I'm so lazy. Why can't I go to my classes? And like all this kind of thing. And then, like, I remember, like, I went through this whole thing, and then my mom was like, show me your grades. Show me your transcript. Bring it up right now. And it was shit. It was, like, zeros or failed or withdrawn kind of a thing. And she's like, why is this happening? And I just remember, like, sobbing, being like, I don't know. And she was like, okay, we're gonna go to the doctor. And then I went and took the test and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wait, you mean this isn't normal?
Hold on.
People are just having panic attacks in their car on college campuses? What are you talking about? And it's like, college for me was such a big trigger at that point because I began to associate it with panic attacks. So I didn't want to do it for the longest time, and now being in college again, I was worried that I was going to, like, go and not do my classes because, like, I was like, because it's all online, I have to be responsible for it and everything else. So I was like, I'm going to fail everything, and I'm on FAFSA, so I won't be able to get FAFSA, so I won't be able to pay for it, and, like, just, like, this whole thing. Then I was like, wait. But I won't because one, I don't have to go to college campus, so that will stop that. And two, I can do it I can do everything the first week if that's gonna that's my effort. That's what I'm gonna put in. And then when I had my first class, I had no anxiety because I had already worked through that, and my brain works for one because I'm 27, so I've finished my developmental stages. I was in therapy a little bit after it started not because of school, just because I was like, I probably have some things that might need to be addressed at this point in time. And the other thing is my sister's also going to school to be a therapist as well, so there's a lot of mental health. Yeah, she's almost done. But she's like, there's just a lot of mental health that I was surrounded by, being a part of, listening to my sister, and I was like, even if I don't feel like I need to process trauma, I feel like this is good to have a sounding board. And like I did go through some traumatic stuff and like worked on some things that were like bothering me or just like I couldn't let go of, or like why am I just like reacting like that to some things. And like there are things that with my past roommate, like I didn't realize were triggers until it happened. And it happened 2 separate times that I was like just set off by something so menial. Like he had a tablecloth. I think I told you about this.
Maybe.
We had a table, and he was like, I want to put a tablecloth on it. And I was like, okay, get whatever you want. I really don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, he got this plastic tablecloth thing, and it had, like, a soft, fuzzy bottom and a regular plastic top. And I saw it, and I just immediately was just mad. I was like, I hate this. It's ugly. Why did you buy this of all things? I was like, I thought you had style. I was just being rude and, like, touched it. And I was like, I don't want to touch it. Like, I was like, I hate this. It moves. I was like, I hate it. And I was just being really irrational and being really mean for no reason. And I was just like, he's like, well, you could have just gotten, he's like, you said you didn't care. And I was like, okay, well, apparently it can't be this. I was like, everything else, like, fuck this table. Like, I was like, I hated it so much. And like, went in my room and I was pissed and I was angry. I was like, why am I so mad? And then I realized that it was the same texture, sound, and feel as a tablecloth that my grandmother loved, who was not a nice person, and like with a lot of like my trigger stuff. It's my cat crying in the background, sorry. And I came out later and I was like, I figured out what it was. I was like, it was triggered by the tablecloth. I was like, we don't have to get rid of it because I know you spent money on it. I was like, but just know I fucking hate it. And you would have gotten rid of the tablecloth.
It's a trigger.
Yeah.
For you.
But we kept it because you didn't really get it. And I didn't have, I also have money guilt and like people spending money on me or anything about anything.
Same.
So, also by the same woman, but you know, like I said, I worked through a lot of that stuff. And then later on, when we moved to our second apartment, we were getting new dishes, because ours had broken during the process. And I was like, buy whatever you want. I don't care what dishes look like. And he brought this floral pattern. And I was like, why did you buy floral frickin' dishes? These are so ugly. Like, literally the same thing again. And I was so mad because he also got matching bowls. And I was like...
It was all together.
I was like, this is awful. Blah, blah, blah. Like, just went on. And I went in my room again. Was so mad. Like, so annoyed. I was like, why am I upset about dishes? And I was like, oh, frick. She had cups that had a floral pattern on it with the exact same floral pattern. Like, I literally pulled up a photo and was like, this is what it is. And I went and showed him. And I was like... This is why I hate these dishes. I'm never going to like them. I'm sorry. I'm being rude. Like, this is just what happened. And I was like, we don't have to get rid of the dishes. Like, it's fine. Yeah. We kept the dishes.
Oh, no.
But I did buy another set that was just blank. And, like, I just used those mostly.
Yeah.
But, like, I was just like, oh, God. It's just like...
having those in your home, I feel like, is... not self-care. Like, I feel like it's the opposite, because you're trying to, with self-care, kind of limit the
dishes
amount.
aren't worth it.
No. I feel like you're supposed to, like, you know, limit the amount of stress that occurs, you know, within your body. And if you see something every single day that stresses you out every single day, that's the opposite of taking care of yourself.
Sorry, yeah.
No, you're good.
The amount of self-awareness that you have, too, around that, like, that can also be, I think, a huge contributor to self-care.
Yeah.
And just, like, being aware of your emotions and, like, the situation that you're in. And, like, looking at it and saying, like, okay, does this situation really, like, from a third-party perspective, does it constitute the emotional reaction that I'm having?
Well, and that's the thing is like, I'm not a very emotive person. Like, I'll be like happiness, like that kind of thing. Like, yeah, that's a general thing. Because you're just like, yeah, I'm like, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm not upset by that kind of thing.
I'm here and I'm alive. Yeah. I'm not upset by that kind of thing.
But you know.
Well, I mean, sometimes
I know
there are periods where I didn't want to be. But,
feel it.
I just... I'm not so, like, out there with things. When I have such high reaction to things, whether it be excitement or whatever, like, my brain just wants to turn on that rationale, be like, why are you up here? What's happening?
Which is huge, because usually that's something that has to be taught through, you know, long amounts of time in therapy. It can be months, years. It's something that generally, you don't learn until you have thoroughly been able to kind of process some stuff. And
I've been pretty self-aware as far as processing goes, but it also just comes from suppressing my emotions for so many years that when I do emote things so heavily, my brain's like, wait, what are we doing? Why?
Wait, what?
So that's more what it is for me, but also, you know, therapy in my this past year that I've been in has also helped a lot to be like, emotions are okay. You can just express them. It's all right.
You can be angry. That's all right.
Yeah. But
you can show that you are angry on your face.
Yeah.
But which has helped me, especially in, like, because my roommate and I didn't have the healthiest relationship toward the end, so it helped me deal with that and why I was so, like, shifting into almost that same, like, 19-year-old negative space, and, like, I was like, why I was doing that, so that helped a lot for me to figure out that, like, when I'm having such extreme emotions and, like, the more negative, like, depression, anger, that kind of stuff, I'm like, this is not my normal. Like, the happy, like, kind of, like, meh, like, that's normal kind of stuff, because I have happy mad days, like, whatever kind of thing. Like, that doesn't send my brain to the trigger of, like, what's happening. And the high excitement doesn't either anymore now, because, like, it's okay to be happy.
Yeah.
Happy things happen.
Joyous and loud and emotive.
But, like, those high negatives have just triggered my brain to be like, why is this happening? What's causing it? Is it this person's actions? Are you annoyed? Have you eaten?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Did you sleep enough?
Yeah. I'm like, is it just him, or was it something else, or was it stuff like that? And like, I'll have like, I think it was even one week, like, Kat was over and I was getting annoyed by things and I didn't understand why. And it was like, I think I've just had so much interaction with people for an extended period of time. I was like, it's not her, it's me. Calm down. Like, don't take it out on her.
Exactly.
It's just, I've had a lot of this. So
you had mentioned that, like, you know, extroverts are literally the exact opposite. I had to explain to somebody that we work with, actually, they're therapists, and they just, I guess, didn't understand the difference between introverts and extroverts. They thought, oh, extroverts are just loud, excited people, and introverts are just always quiet people. And it's really, if you're an introvert, when you're around people, it, like, depletes your energy and, like, your coping. But if you're an extrovert, you generally, like, thrive off of that. Like you said, like, they have to have that, like, contact to, like, feel good. Versus, like, if I hang out with somebody for too long, I'm, like, shutting down. And I had to explain that to him because he is definitely an extrovert, and he was really up and excited and was talking a bunch, and I just kind of, like, shut down for a minute. And he got really worried. He's like, I'm so sorry, I'm talking to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's literally not you. It's literally 100% me. And even just being able to say that and be honest and open, I feel like, is another form of just making sure that, you know, all sides are understood, and you don't have to sit there and worry about like, is this wrong? Did I do this and this?
Yeah, like, no, it's like you're just a people.
Yeah,
and that makes me tired. Yeah, and like
could be any people, but
and I mean, like the fact that like you and I are both introverts,
very much,
but we're also loud and out there, and when we are around people, we're very excited, and very hyperactive,
very much so.
But like, also that's part of the reason why it's very draining to be around people.
Yeah, very much so.
Like, you know, I don't know. Like for me, when it comes to like social situations, I've been told that I look very confident and very like present and like direct and like really fun, like when I'm around people. But it's also a coping skill that I've developed because I get really anxious when I'm around people. So then that will often, especially in new situations, oh God, if I'm in situations where I'm with new people, and especially if they're people that I want to impress, like then it's an amazing coping skill that I don't know how my brain developed it, but here we are, like, thanks. But yeah, it's just a coping skill for me to just kind of be really like super like energetic and like appear as confident as possible, but really I'm like considering every single like I'm very aware of the area around me. I'm very aware of every single reaction that everybody's having in the room to any stimulus.
The slightest eyebrow twitch to the slightest like glance, it's like
yeah, and just constantly reading everyone in the room the entire time.
Pause in between what you've said and how long it takes for somebody else to respond back says a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't even say that much, and I'm just also an overthinker.
And also just like making sure that I'm aware of like my reactions and making sure that I'm not trying to put myself out there too much, but also not like holding back too much, and just.
Yay for overthinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely not that, but people definitely don't believe that I have social anxiety or am an introvert, because when I'm at work or in social situations, well, it depends on the social situation, but when I'm at work, people, like, my old office mate was like, I was like, oh no, like, I'm actually a very insecure individual. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah. He goes, but you always seem to know what you're doing. And I was like, okay, for my job, for the most part, I know what I'm doing. And I was like, but a lot of times if I don't, I'm just winging it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm 99% of the time right. And I was like, it's just because I pay attention to what I'm doing. And I was like, but, like, I'm the background person. Like, I'm a very, like, stoic, like, I'm there. People a lot of times think I'm very mean when they first meet me, just because I'm not like, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. But if I did that, I feel like I'd be more terrifying, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I'm here, I'm serious, this is what I'm here to do, like, whatever kind of a thing. I definitely do have like a customer service voice where I'm like, hi, how are ya? What can I do for you today? Kind of a thing, because people get intimidated by I am a deeper voiced female, so they
Yeah.
get like, they're like, whoo, and I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, I'm
Scary.
not gonna be like, I'll take you up to the back alley and beat you up.
Let's go.
But I'm not like that forward, front, bubbly person, which is hilarious because like all of my female friends are. Because like Hannah, one of our also our coworkers, like when I met her, I was like, whoa, because she's so like to the nth degree more bubbly than you guys. So I was just taken aback. But when I actually like met her when she wasn't like putting that work persona forward, I was like, oh, perfect. I can do this.
We can interact now.
So it's that front forward thing because like you're like I gotta do this sort of thing, whatever. And I like being more in the background. I like when people ignore me. Like my job, my title is like executive assistant, but because we at our job, at least for the last few years, we've had like a large staff shift. Not a lot of people know what that means. So they're just like, oh yeah, this thing, and I like it because I am considered in a position of power. People don't think I am. So I hear more and I get told more things.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm like, ooh, I got the latest gossip. It's like, no, I can get the real feel of how people are feeling. So then I can relay that to the upper management. Be like, this is how people are feeling. This is what we need to do to change to make it either more comfortable or this needs to work better. Thank you. Well, I mean, I get told things that they wouldn't, people, like, if you see a position of power, that, like, people don't want to complain because they're like, oh, I might get fired or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not how things get better, though.
Yeah.
I've experienced that so much. I'm like, I don't want this to not get better. And it's like, for some things, like, you can't fight the system because the system is going to be what the system is.
System's going to
But if you work with it, especially because we're in the process of developing it in Washington State, especially for mental health, if you work with it, you can be part of the change to make it better and work better with you.
Yeah.
And that's what it's so hard to convey to some people because they're like, it's going to ruin my job. And I'm like, it's not, though.
Yeah.
It's giving you parameters. If you work with us, we can set the parameters.
Exactly. And being able to have, like, a healthy... like encouraging job also with fantastic managers. I've had terrible managers. I love everything about the job except the manager, and that's what's caused me to quit. When if I had a better manager, I probably would have stayed. So being able to be in the place where I'm at now, where I have, you know, like everybody above me listens to me, I feel like my word is heard and understood and taken into consideration. That in and of itself makes me so much more relaxed by the time I get home to where I don't need as much self-care. I don't feel like I, you know, have to go sit in a bath for 20 hours to get rid of the day. Like,
what you do throughout your day definitely makes a difference for how you feel after you're done, whether it's job, school, whatever. If you're going to school and you're like, this fucking sucks, you need to change your major because you're never going to get a job in this you're going to like in the first place. You're not going to continue. You're going to continue to be upset.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it's like, if you want to be an actor, you want to be a musician, like that's your passion, do it. The thing is you may not end up being an actor or musician, but you may find that when you get through the whole process, you're like, wow, I really love producing, or I like editing.
I love sound engineering.
You'll find weird things, because like when I first went to school, I did so many different random things. I was like, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a chef, I'm going to be this, and I never did any of it. And then I was a CNA because I was like, I'm going to be a nurse, I'm going to be a nurse, I'm going to be a nurse, I'm going to be a nurse. And I went all the way up to going to basically nursing school, and I was like, why am I doing this? I hate this. So I wasted not wasted time, but I wasted, quote unquote, time doing this when I could have been doing something else, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was like, screw it. So I just worked as a CNA for a long time. Then was like, oh, I was like really doing massage, let me go to massage school, and I did that, and I loved it until I had to massage the public. Then I was like, this sucks. I don't really like touching people. Why did I do this? Because, like, my classmates, it was fine because I got to know them. And we spent a really long time, like, getting comfortable with each other. We all, like, learned how to do stuff with each other. So it's like, yeah, I was comfortable doing that because I know what's wrong with Edward's shoulder because I've worked on him 20 times. And I have a personal connection with him, and it's easy. And, like, people that I practiced on had personal connections with, so it was easy. I was like, this is great. But I took a business class, one of the required courses, and I loved that. It was so interesting. I read the whole book, and we only did, like, 4 chapters. Yeah, I loved it. Wow. And I was like, maybe I should just own a business one day, kind of a thing. And then got done, and I was like, no, I should use my degree since I got it. Did it for, like, a while, and then ended up wrenching my shoulder, so I stopped doing it. But after I stopped doing it, I was like, I'm not sad about this, even though I paid for this. Like, I'm not sad about this. Yeah. That I stopped.
And I feel like it's not, like, time wasted because you still have had the opportunity to go through and learn something.
Oh, yeah, I have a skill set I'll never lose.
Exactly. And that's something I feel like, I mean, especially I graduated college 3 years ago. I feel like I was so worried that I was gonna go through and I was gonna get my major and I was gonna hate it and I was gonna have to sit in this job because I got this degree for the rest of my life. Yeah. And it took me until after I graduated to recognize that, okay, I can sit and I can do this job for a year and then I can go and do something else. Like, it didn't occur to me till after I graduated college. I can do other things. Yeah. Like, I don't have to do the same job for the rest of my life. And that, like, was so freeing for me. I was like, okay, I'll do this. Until I don't want to anymore. So
yeah. And then my current job is what I found. I was like, I really enjoyed the business aspect, like the billing, all that kind of stuff. That I was like, why don't I go to school for business admin? Because that's what I'm doing, basically. So it'll help me with my current career, and I would love someday to be the executive director of a nonprofit, necessarily ours. But I mean, if I am, that's cool, but, like, I see how much our executive director does, and I'm like, yikes. So, yeah. But I would like to be, like, in some management-esque position, whatever, or, like, even possibly HR, because I really enjoyed what our HR manager does. So it's like, there's these aspects, but this is a bachelor's. I could get a master's in anything that expands upon it.
Yeah, so, exactly.
That's the other thing is, like, don't be afraid to go back to school. Yeah. Because the thing is, like, at this point in time in our lives, student loan debt's gonna be there forever, so...
You gonna keep paying for it.
Like, I think it's the coolest thing when people have a history of doing so many different things. Yeah. Those are my favorite kind of people.
Amazing.
Like, I've got this other friend who... she used to be... She's a makeup artist, and she also has her... she's a massage therapist, and also she used to be an MMA fighter, and then also she's a mother, and also she used to be a wedding coordinator, and she's done, and she's an artist, she's an amazing artist, and, like, she's done so many things in her life, and I'm just like, oh my
so
God,
multidimensional.
You're so cool, you know so much about so many things. And yeah, she's just an amazing friggin' person. And then like that's somebody who you've kind of like morphed into as well. Like having like worked with CNA staff and then also massage therapy, and also you've had a lovely bout of
retail.
Retail.
I think everybody on the face of this planet should work retail for a short amount of time.
Retail or food service industry.
We would have so much more respect for people in those positions if everybody worked it for just
I think the majority of our generation though has at some point worked in the service industry.
Oh, I have, yeah.
At some point in time, somebody's had a service industry job.
My first job was KFC, and then I was a waitress when I was going through college.
Yeah. My first job was Spirit Halloween. That was a fun job.
Oh my gosh!
But also, like, made me really feel bad for anybody that goes to Spirit Halloween after that, because, like, for working there, because people literally just take costumes and they're like, "I'm done." Throw.
Yeet.
I've learned how to fold costumes.
It's their job to clean it up.
Yep.
I've never worked in food service industry though. That is one thing I've never done.
When you have,
but it's purely because I have to talk to too many people and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, when you have somebody screaming at you because you gave them the wrong just size of mashed potato, or you know they forgot their drink. When you have somebody screaming at you, it like puts your life into perspective. Like,
is this really what's ruining your day? You don't have ranch.
Really?
You don't have
There's clearly so much more going on here, and I'm just like your beating bag for now, so like, okay, go for it.
Yeah. I had one woman at my store that I worked at who came to do a return and was standing in my line, and she was holding clothes with tags on and no bag, so I thought she was buying them. Yeah. And she gets up and I was like, here for a return. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, our returns are actually done upstairs. And she went off the wall. Was just like, how dare you came in, do blah, blah, blah. You could have stayed in this line the whole time, blah, blah, blah. Like, just screaming at me. And I was like, And the thing is we couldn't do returns at the jewelry counter, which is downstairs. But she pissed me off, so I wasn't going to do it. Yeah. So I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but we can't only do it at customer service. It is upstairs. It was like, we are one of the few stores that, of this brand of stores that is 2 stories. So sorry. I was like, there's an escalator or the elevator if you go down this way. It takes you directly to customer service. Have fun. And then, like, up the escalator the whole way, she was, like, cussing me out. And I was just like, and got on my radio and was like, customer service, you're gonna have an angry client coming up there, just so you know. And they were like, gotcha. And I was fine. And the lady behind me was like, that was so rude. I was like, I deal with it a lot. And she was like, oh my God, that's terrible. And I was like, yeah, well.
On the quick, thing like that, you had mentioned a customer service voice. I had one when I was a waitress. I mean, I still have one, like, when I call people, but...
It's not like, hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah. Okay, what up? What's up? What's up? No, but I had, as a waitress, there was one night where we were just slammed, and there was, like, all of my tables were full, and, like, I was also bussing and also, like, helping get food because we were so slammed. Like, I even kind of helped make food for a hot second because, geez, it was crazy.
Because cheese.
Because cheese. But there was a moment where, like, I was running around, and I, like, walked up to a fresh table, and my voice got a little bit higher than it usually does. I was like, hi, you guys, welcome to blah, 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 blah. And they're like, the dad who was sitting at the table with his kids was like, oh, hi, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Like, making fun of me. And I was like, okay, all right, this is what we're doing today? Okay. You could tell everybody else at the table was also... like, really embarrassed. Yeah. I was like, okay.
You should know that your actions are not socially appropriate and you should feel bad.
When will you learn that
your actions have consequences?
Rip headphone users.
Sorry.
I think it's also important to kind of touch on that. Like, I was able to get out of that place. Like, I had the opportunity where more jobs became available because we live in such a highly populated place. With lots of different,
things,
opportunities for different things. So, but like some people cannot leave their job. Some people are stuck there. So like, how do you make the most of it, and how do you take care of yourself throughout the day, and then also provide your own self-care when you get home? So that's huge.
Make friends with your coworkers.
I mean, sometimes.
I mean, yeah. The thing is there's always gonna be one or two that you're like, you're on shift. We're gonna have a good shift.
Okay. So. This job is awesome because, like, hey. And also, hey, because, great coworkers. But,
and I get to work alone. Yeah. It's wonderful.
I mean, like, when I was a barista, we only had, there was a point in time where it was just me and one other person and then the store owner. And, I mean, it's also just as valid to just become best friends with your coworkers as it is to have those boundaries of between your work life and your personal life.
Yes.
So, I mean, honestly, the person that I worked with when I was a barista, like, yeah, great person to work with. Like, he was really fun. It was really interesting, but not somebody that I wanted to spend a lot of my personal time with. Just because, like, our personalities didn't match that way. Like, we worked great together. We were an awesome team. But, like, outside of work, I remember we would, like, hang out on lunch breaks when we were better staffed. And, I just remember feeling... It didn't feel like an equal friendship.
Yeah.
And so, it was just... It's part of self-care is not being afraid to have those boundaries. And, like, that's a lesson that I've been... learning for the past, like, 6 months.
Oh my god, me too. I didn't know they existed, and I could set them up until I worked here.
You're both so bad at saying no.
Yeah.
And I'm over here like, do you want nope?
I do not!
I have the opposite problem. I don't say yes enough for things. Because, like, it's also important that sometimes you do need to get out of your comfort zone and do something that would make you necessarily comfortable. Like, we went karaokeing the other night. I am very uncomfortable singing in front of people when it's not in the car, along with other music. Oh, yeah.
That was so much fun. I was just thinking we should do that again.
I literally hate the sound of my own voice when I'm singing. Because
See, but I think you have a lovely voice.
See, I'm tone deaf or I'm flat and I don't like it. If I'm singing along with other people or to, like,
lies,
the actual, like, words, like, in my ear, I have a better time matching tone than when I'm just singing along to a karaoke versionized of a song. Yeah. Which is like, we did Defying Gravity, and I was like, I can't do this. The beat's off, and it's so weird.
It was really odd.
Like, I need it to be close enough that my brain's like, this is what it sounds like, this is what it should sound like.
And it just didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I was
that.
like, I can't do this. Like, it's just, throws me off too much.
Yeah.
If I had, like, when I sang a duet with Kat before anybody got there, it's easier for me to match somebody else.
Yeah.
Because I can harmonize with her, because I know what she's going to do. Because I also have known her for 12 years.
Yeah.
So, do not bite my finger.
It's not your finger, it's your thumb.
Friendship.
But yeah, boundaries is important to develop is the consensus of this, but it's also not for people. People, you need to set boundaries and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you also need to have those friends, especially for people who are introverted. And for a lesson for those extroverted people, if you have an introverted friend, invite them to things. Yeah. They will most likely say no.
Just keep inviting them.
They'll say yes eventually.
Be annoying.
The thing is they appreciate it so much. Like, Kat has been my friend who's always been so good at that, of being like, do you want to come to this? Do you want to come to this? Do you want to come to this? She knows 9 times out of 10 I am most likely going to say no. But I've been actually pretty good about being like, you know what? Yeah, let's do the thing. Sure. I can go. I know I can go for an hour. If I leave, they'll be fine. Like, they won't care. They'll have other people there. Whatever. You know, it'll turn out just fine. And I have that ability that I know they're not going to be upset if I leave after an hour. They're just going to know I've reached my limit, whatever that may be. And it may be I can be there for 8 hours, or I can be there for 2. It just depends. And it's like we hang out with the same group of people constantly. Danica is also a part of that. So it's not like it's different people. Like, there'll be an occasion a different person. But on the most part, it's the same group of people stuff. Yeah. Which, like I said... Danica didn't go to our high school with us, but we've all known them since high school, which is funny because I didn't hang out with them in high school. But, like...
But you know me.
Yeah. But, like, I'm included, like, maybe on our Discord chat, which you need to join. Oh. Like, they'll invite me to games that they know I might play with them, like Golf It or stuff like that. So, even if I'm like, no, I can't, like... Stardew. Yeah. If I can't, they're like, oh, no worries, another time kind of a thing. Yeah. So, it's nice to be included without being like... Ugh, you can never do anything. Because I got that a lot from friends. They're like, why? They just stop inviting me because they're like, you're going to say no. And I'm like...
Still want you to ask.
But I still appreciate the offer because it's like acknowledging, like, you're my friend, I would like to have you here. But if you can't, that's okay too. Yeah. So, which is why whenever somebody cancels with me and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, if you double book or if it's like, I just can't today, I'm like...
Thank you.
Totes. Cool. Okay, that's fine.
Appreciate it.
Because I'd rather people get what they need also. Like, I don't need necessarily to hang out with people. I was like, I'm not saying I don't love to see them, but, like, if they need to, like, be alone, like...
Go for it.
I will be the advocate for that 100%. So, because the thing is I have other friends that I can hang out with, or I have, like, in my family, or, like, anything like that. So, yeah.
Or you can find peace in your own company.
Yes.
And, like, I also want to put the disclaimer out there that to find a true to form introvert or true to form extrovert is actually very rare.
Yes.
A huge percentage, of people are somewhere in between.
Yes.
It's just it's not
you
not like
you guys are pretty good middle ground.
You know what's crazy though? Have you guys taken the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator test?
Yeah.
So on the test, you know how it's like introverted to extroverted? There's like, you know, notches in between. Yeah. Every single time I've taken it, it's always introverted. Yeah. There's been one occasion where I was like 9 out of 10, but every other time it's 10 out of 10. And I feel like because I worked in retail, it makes, you know, easier for like the first little bit because you have like a little jargon that you run through and then like you hang around people long enough and then you're like, oh hi, I'm also like kind of weird and lame, so like
hello.
I took the Myers-Briggs. I was an INTJ, I want to say
ISFP,
ENFP.
That makes sense.
Well, mine changes a lot.
You are a very good middle ground, like extrovert introvert, because you can gain energy from people. It just has to be certain people
in a certain situation.
So
in situations like karaoke, I'm like afterwards, I'm like, ooh, I'm ready to go. Let's go build a house. Let's do it. But like if I have to go to...
But it depends on if it's a giant group of people, though. Yeah. Because if it's a giant group of people, you're like, that was fun. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, if it's like a gala thing,
like the 4 of us that we went to, like that was fun.
That was perfect.
Yeah. Like it was a good time. Like
beautiful.
Nobody was from Cornish.
Oh my god. That, I mean, like, long story short, we went out to karaoke for her sister's birthday, and
we think there was a Cornish event happening as well.
And Cornish is an art school near here.
I was like...
Yeah, like really, talented
like vibrato, people. Like opera, like other things, like musical theater 101, like they could all be on Glee, like
like there were multiple people. There was even one group of just 2 people who went up and they had a whole dance number to do while they were also singing in perfect harmony, and I'm just like,
we're just trying to sing Elton John.
Don't go breaking my heart.
I couldn't if I tried. Yeah.
Woo!
So, but like, like the small group thing, like that is something that you gain more energy from than anything. And when you know you're gonna have a party and can prep for it, I feel like you have a good time, and afterwards you're like, that was great, still going to bed, but like I'm pumped, I'm good, I don't need like a day. But if Dan's like, I invited all of the guys over, you're like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be upstairs.
I need to go put my eyebrows on.
Yeah. Like, it's just, it's the level of things.
Yeah.
I am somebody who is very introverted, like, the whole, like, I'm not, well, I am more quiet than other things. I can get loud if I'm comfortable with somebody.
Yeah.
If I'm comfortable if I'm drunk, I become extrovert, and I'm like, hi, want to make out? Okay, thank you.
Oh my god, same. I'm such like I want to kiss everybody when I get drunk. I'm like, I don't care. Let's just go.
Yeah. I just want to kiss everybody, and it's so inappropriate.
Same.
Like, I'll just come over to Kat, and I'll be like, hello. And she's like, you're drunk, and I'm like, yes.
How'd you know? How'd you know?
Which is a problem when there's other people like me around, because we had to,
I like it.
Not going too far. It's just I become that person that's like kiss drunk. I think that's what it's called.
I think that's something to also note, like, as far as self-care goes, is, I mean, like, I didn't know how to handle the stress of, like, working in mental health, like, when I first started. So that on top of just, like, family stress and relationship stress, and then also becoming old enough to, like, drink and, experiment. I did not know how to handle that in the first place, and that was a very negative coping skill for a while, until I figured out that drinking all the time every single night won't make things better. You'll just feel more terrible in the morning. Great for a little bit, but terrible later.
But I feel like that's something every early 20s person has to learn, because you're like, wow, alcohol makes me feel great.
Let's go.
Why don't people do this all the time?
Then as you keep going, you finally learn that alcohol doesn't make me feel great. It actually makes me feel awful. But it's temporarily nice.
Yeah.
I don't have any other coping skills. What is self-care?
Yeah. Fuck. That's when I went through my slut phase, which I hate that term, but yeah.
I had that before I had my... I mean,
I was dating
I'll wear
one
it kind of
person.
proudly. I'm like, dude, I fucking had a slut phase. I'm like, I'm down for this, right?
No, I just like the word slut.
No, same. Like, it can be used in a really negative way, but I feel like for me, it means, like, happy things, just because I grew up in such, like, a religious home, like, that was so shamed and shunned, and I was, like, so uncomfortable that, like, I wanted to do these things, and then, like, when I got out of that situation, and I could do it, like, I could just kind of have fun, with boundaries, with, being safe, use protection, all that fun stuff, that was almost
Wrap
like a...
up your dick.
Please do.
Cover your vagina.
Do all the things.
Yeah.
Cover all the parts. Do all the things.
Cover
have all
whatever
the fun.
you have.
Yeah, have a good time. But no, I thought it was a great time, a wonderful time, and it was healthy and it was good, and I feel good about it.
Yeah,
it was good to be able to be myself.
I'd love talking about sexual health. Like,
Hell
I'll
yeah.
talk about that all day long. Like, I think it's so...
Kat's depressed by my history, so...
What?
I said Kat's depressed mostly about my history. Just because they've all just had shit partners, so... But yeah, no, I was in a relationship up until 21, so that was when I was like, I got out of it, and I was like, I can do whatever I want.
It's an important thing for every individual to have a slut phase.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important.
If you're safe.
Well,
Yes.
of course, yeah. And, like...
And if it's healthy.
Also,
Self-care.
like, I do agree with you on the word slut. Like, that word is specifically just to control women's sexuality.
Yeah.
That's all it's for.
A sexual exploration phase.
Yes. So, just because, like, it's so important to, I mean, like, not saying that any, like, not trying to, like, hit on any kind of religious thing or anything like that. I just feel like it's so important to make sure, like, you know your body and what you like, because sex is a very integral part of any relationship.
Self-care.
Yeah, for
Unless
sure.
you're asexual.
Well, that's the other point that I was going to hit on, is like, that's another part of it, is like, you need to explore to see, like, are you asexual? Like,
is this something
like,
you want?
yeah, like, because there have been so many people that I've met who are or are not asexual, and either thought that they are asexual when really they actually had, like, sexual trauma, Sorry, trigger warning. But then there's also people who thought the exact opposite, and then they're like, oh, and then I was just kind of like, I just don't think about this.
Yeah.
This is just something that, like, that's just, like, not really appealing to me. And, like, that's perfectly fine, too. Like, the journey to, like, try a whole bunch of different things until you get to where you know yourself better.
Yeah.
And then, like, continuing that forever, because it's not like I have found out that this is what I am forever, and this is what I like, and I don't like anything else.
Yeah.
And that will never change. Yeah. Like,
people change. Like,
yeah.
They grow. They adjust.
Absolutely.
It's life.
I thought I was asexual when I was younger, because I didn't really have any of, like, the normal, like, developmental sexual urges, stuff like that. Like, even I didn't have sex until I was 19. So
yeah, it was about that time too.
Like, and it was never like I was just like, I was people like, oh, I want to lose my virginity. I was like, who the like, why does this matter? Why is this a thing? And it just irritated me. But I was never like, I just didn't really care about it for the most part. So I was like, meh. And then I was with the partner that I was with, and he and I obviously had sex with him, and he was the only person I ever had sex with up until we broke up. And I was like, I don't really enjoy this, but I feel like it's, like, I'm supposed to do this kind of a thing. So, I mean, it was all consensual. It was nothing like that. It was just, like, I was like, I'm not really getting any of this. I don't really get it. Like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, I'd never done anything else. So I was like, I guess this is just what it is.
Yeah.
And then after we broke up,
disempowering.
like, I had, like, my sexual exploration phase where I was like, I think I'm attracted to women. Like, I had been, like, I was like, I think I'm bisexual, but I was like, and, like, all of the partners that I had were very much like, oh, like, do this for me, and then I would get nothing in return, but that's what I had for that entire relationship. So I was like, this is just what it is, right? Yeah. So I was like, whatever. So then, like, I did that, and then I got really tired of it, because I was like, this isn't really that fun. I'm not really enjoying it. Like, I'm not really having these feelings. And I was like, maybe I'm asexual. Kind of went about my way. And then, the guy that I'm currently kind of sort of seeing, and I met now 3 years ago. Jesus. And we met at, like, a party thing, and we hung out and whatever, and we had really good conversation, which I enjoyed. And he was like, you want to go back to my place? And I was like, fuck it. Like, because, like, I hadn't had sex in, like, 3 years at that point in time. I was like, sure, whatever.
Okay.
And let's go. Did the do, and I was, like, afterwards, I just remember laying there, and I was, like, physically shaking, and I was like, so... what? And he was like, are you okay? I was like, I don't know. And he actually, like, sat with me and talked me through, like, what I was feeling, basically. Yeah. Which was really, like, helpful for me as somebody who had come from that. And I explained him, like, kind of, like, I just, like, verbally vomited at him. I was like, so, like, this is, like, what's happened, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, that's awful. I'm so sorry. And coming from, like, a straight white male, that was really validating.
Yeah.
Oh, opposite. I thought you were, like, good things happening. I was like, yeah, but no, that's important, too. So, like, when somebody else, like, has that connection or you're able to, like, have somebody who is that emotionally aware to be like, hold on, like, let's pause.
Let's unpack this for a second.
Like, someone had literally been like, that was so unfair to you that all of these people did that. I was like... So this is what it should be? He goes, yeah, this is what you should demand from now on. Yeah. He's like, this is what you deserve. This is what you should get. If you don't get it.
And I think that that's a huge, you know, part.
Which is why I'm 3 years later, we're still doing the thing, so.
I think, out.
Yeah. More so now.
That is something that I feel like is also just like, you know, just a lame part of society in which, you know, if the man, and we're totally... I'm going off on that, you know, small tangent, but, you know, if
the patriarchy,
the man, you know, has a good time, he finishes, that's great, fantastic, but if he doesn't, it's the woman's fault. And if the woman doesn't finish, it's nobody's fault except her own.
Why couldn't you have done it in 30 seconds?
Vaginas are weird.
They're too hard to understand. Like, how do you even...
Mysterious.
Like, nah, you just have to put in the effort and the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've gone off on a whole ass tangent at this point. I think
but
it
self-care.
Constitutes. But self-care. Masturbation can be self-care, I'm just saying.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Completely agree. And again, not something I explored until I was an adult.
Yeah.
Which was interesting, because I was like, oh, God.
Hello.
This is not what I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not, like, for me, it wasn't religion or anything like that. It was just never really talked about in my family. Not for any reason. It was just my parents are both nurses, so it's always been very clinical. Like, to have a baby, this is what it is.
Yep.
So it was, like, not anything beyond that. Of, like, this is, like, what you should expect. This is what you should do. Like, if I ever have children, I don't think I'll be like, this is what you should do, kind of a thing. But, like, this is, like, if you do this, you should get this, basically.
Yeah. Here's how you also have pleasure.
Here's how you get what you need out of it, basically. But, yeah, different generations. I mean, I get it. My parents, it was, like, a taboo thing and, like, all that kind of stuff.
They did really well for the generation that they were
my parents are boomers, so...
Yeah.
They had kids late.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like...
Well, they're also end-of-generation boomers, so...
Yeah.
Back to self-care.
Woke, as one would say.
Oh my... You just
hit the whoa. Did you just hit the whoa?
I did.
This just in. She just hit the whoa.
It was the widest thing I've ever done. But yeah, self-care is important. Basically, I think at the core of this is you need to learn how to advocate for yourself.
Yeah,
for your needs, what will help you, whether it be the hard stuff.
I want to talk about advocacy.
Ooh,
like self-advocacy.
yes.
Part 2.
For a second. Like, how much time?
Okay, go.
Okay,
quick.
So just real quick, like, self-advocacy is a lesson that has taken me a very, very, very long time to learn. I'm still learning it, but
we gotta learn away.
Mine came from it came a lot from my depression and feeling like I was worthless and feeling like therefore my voice was worthless and like I know I'm so I just
it's so great.
It the biggest thing was like surrounding myself with different people. So I went through a lot of really big life changes within the time span of about a year, and like the entire group of people that I surrounded myself with drastically changed.
Yeah.
And so because of that, because I was around people who like were patient and were validating and were empathetic and were encouraging, like that, like people who told me that like, hey, I want to hear what you have to say. And then people who, you know, would be patient with me when I couldn't get the words out, which is still something I struggle with. Like whenever something big comes up, like it felt like a physical barrier went up in my brain and I just could not say anything. I couldn't even think about the big thing that I wanted to talk about. And so then when I was with my significant other who just like held my hands and like looked at my eyes and like coached me through it, like while we were talking about a big emotional thing that like affected him too, but he was able to take himself out of that. Like this person is so amazing. Like he was able to take himself out of that just to be with me and be patient through that experience of me just saying like, hey, that thing is happening again, and him just kind of being like, say any words at all. It doesn't matter if they don't make sense. Just say words.
Just start talking.
Yeah. And so just like, to me, one of the biggest things that you can do for self-care is surrounding yourself with people who are patient with you and who give you the respect that you give them. Yeah.
Find that equal give and take.
Yeah.
Because if you're giving more than you're getting back, because the thing is any relationship is about give and take. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It sounds like it's a selfish thing, but it's not. You need to be a bit selfish in your relationships because there needs to be something given back. Not necessarily money or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just time, listening, attendance, like whatever.
Yeah.
If you're constantly showing up to somebody's thing to support them and they never show up for you, that's not a good friend.
Stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to, you know, advocate for yourself and for your needs, like you were saying before. It's like it's huge. I've been in a relationship where I just got walked all over because I never said what I needed, and when I finally started saying what I needed, it had been too long, and they were like, "You're just being selfish." And so it's important to establish that and set boundaries.
It's not
healthy people.
Yeah, man, fuck. It's not selfish to like to have needs.
Have boundaries.
It's not selfish to have boundaries. It's not selfish to have needs that conflict with somebody else's wants or needs. Like it's
A need versus somebody's want is not an equal thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So self-advocate. Do what Nate feels good for you. Take your meds. Listen to your doctor.
Also sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep.
And if you want to sleep for like 3 days, I get it.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Just, yeah.
But just remember to get up, take a shower at some point in time.
Have a snack.
Do something that'll be good for you, nourish your body, drink water.
Drink water. Yeah, drink water.
Most importantly, drink water.
Not just iced coffee, not just Diet Pepsi, Danica. Drink water.
Because
not just Bahag Blast from Taco Bell.
well, basically you a plant, but it's a little more complicated to keep you alive.
You a complicated plant.
Anyway. Also, have slumber parties.
Yeah. We love you. Thank you for hanging out. We hope you have a good time. Bye.